Hey guys, Drew from Trout Pro here, and today I'm going to be going over what I recommend to purchase to get started in bass fishing. This list is just a recommendation. You don't need to follow this. This is just what I've used and is my preference for using and what I would suggest for getting started in bass fishing. So now we're going to go over what I recommend in terms of rod and reels and tools you'll need for fishing. So let's get into it. For bass fishing specifically, I would recommend a medium heavy action bait casting rod. This one specifically is a Abu Garcia Jordan Lee combo. It's about $100, so it's fairly inexpensive. It's a pretty good combo overall. I really like it. On it, I have some 20-pound fluorocarbon line, and this is just a good general purpose for whatever you're fishing kind of rod for bass fishing. Also, if you're able to, I would recommend to get a spinning combo. This rod is a Lew's Hypersonic Speed Stick. It's a 6'6" medium power rod. It's rated for 1/8 to 1/2 ounce lures. So I usually use this for weightless fishing lures or any lighter lures. On this I have some 10-pound braid, so I have some really good sensitivity with this. This is just a Abu Garcia Silver Max spinning reel. It's not very expensive, but I really like it. Seems to be pretty tough. It's lasted for a long time. So that's what I would recommend in terms of rods to get started in bass fishing. For something to carry your tackle, I would recommend a small backpack like this one or a big one, depending on how much tackle you're able to get. And then 2 tackle trays or more or less, depending on the amount of tackle you have. Then some tools you'll need and some that are optional that I would recommend are right here. So I would recommend that you get a scale or a tape measure so you can measure your catches and see what you've caught and the weight or whatever of them. Then some things you'll need is some pliers in case you hook one deeper in the mouth and you can't get it out with just your fingers. I like these ones because they have cutters on them and you're able to use them for split rings and hook removal. Then I would also recommend something for cutting your line other than your teeth. I like these bait scissors like this. They work really well. They're pretty sharp. They work really well for braid especially, which can be hard to cut. And then some people prefer nail clippers, but I like the bait scissors instead. So now I'll be going over the tackle section of lures that I think you should include in your tackle box. So over here I have my soft plastics in this tray and also my terminal tackle. For terminal tackle, I like to have some regular, your standard, I like 3/8 ounce. They're very versatile jig heads to use those for swim baits or whatever lures you want to put those on. Any type of worms to hop them along the bottom. I also like some lighter, these are 1/4 ounce shaky head jig heads to use for any smaller worms or any finesse worms on the bottom like that. Then one of my favorite soft plastics are swim baits. These little soft plastic ones, they're a little more expensive than regular soft plastics, but I like to use them to cover water and find fish. I prefer them in a lighter color because that will match the hatch of any forage that bass are after really well. I don't think color's a huge deal on it, but any natural color seems to work pretty well for me. Then I like some straight tail worms, any type of trick worms like this in green pumpkin or really any color you like. I also really like these Biospawn plasma tails. They're about, I think they were 7 inches. They have this particular color has a small chartreuse end on it, and I really like these, especially weightless through the water. They have a really nice neutral buoyancy, and they seem to work really well for me. I also like to include a couple of ribbon tail worms. This one is a culprit in just all black. These seem to work really well, especially for any pond fishing. Also, again, any green pumpkin color or anything like that, that works really well again. Then some crawl style baits or creature baits. These ones, they work well for trailers or muddy water, any type of bottom fishing you might need. And any of these types like this seem to work for me. It doesn't seem to make a huge difference to me or the fish that I catch with them. Another lure that seems very good and very popular is Senkos. I like a 5-inch Senko in either the black and blue color or green pumpkin. Those are my two favorite colors for Senkos. I will either Texas rig them weightless on an EWG hook or use them as a wacky worm. So that pretty much covers most of my soft plastics that I'll pack, and now I'll move on to this other box which has other baits that I would recommend. So in this first part, I have some flukes. This one specifically is a Zoom in this white sparkly color again. I like it very well because it's a great imitation of all the bait fish that bass like to eat. This one also has a paddle tail, so I can double it as a swim bait or a fluke. And I also have these flukes, which are actually scented, and I use these for trailers and any finesse fishing like that. Then I would also recommend to get two types of topwater lures to get started. A simple popper, and I think a light color works the best because a bait fish on the bottom of it is lighter colored. So if a fish is looking at it from above, it will be lighter color on the bottom. That's why I like a lighter colored topwater bait on the bottom at least. So this is just a plain white popper, and they call it bone color, but it's pretty much the same thing. And that works very well, especially for ponds. Then for any bigger lakes or bigger bodies of water, a walk the dog style bait like this head in right here is very good. They also have some loud beads inside that help with noise and vibrations in the water. Then over here I have a jerk bait. These work well, especially if you're pausing them in cooler water temperatures or in bass or chasing bait fish a lot. For fishing any deeper water or where I want it to sink quicker, I like to use a lipless crankbait. This one is also kind of a shiny pattern. I really like these because they reflect light and it catches bass's attention very well. For any shallow water fishing with crankbaits, or if I want to fish around cover with them, a square bill crankbait works very well, especially in ponds where I want to fish more shallower. Then I like to have two spinner baits. I like to have a lighter one in kind of a bluegill pattern. This one is, I believe, a 3/8 ounce in a bluegill pattern, as you can see right here, and it has a gold and a silver blade. Then I have this heavier one, which is also slightly larger and more of a white shad color. This one is better for fishing lakes or anywhere there might be deeper water that you want to get it down deeper. It is heavier, so it is able to sink better, and it gives a bigger profile of bigger bait fish. Also, I have a chatterbait in here. This is just a Z-Man chatterbait with a cross style trailer on it. You can use these. They have lots of vibration in them, so they can attract bass really well, especially in ponds. So I really like to use. So just to recap quickly of what we went over, any hard baits, I would say to get them in a chrome or shiny gold color, anything shiny that will attract a bass's attention. Soft plastics, keep it simple with natural colors, green pumpkin, black and blue, any of those colors like that. For rods and reels, a bait casting combo, medium heavy, with 20-pound line on it. That's what I would recommend, and a spinning rod with 10-pound braid on it for any lighter lures, anything like that. For tools, something to cut your line with, something to remove hooks. Those you need. Some things you don't need, but I would recommend is a scale and a tape measure. You can also use nail clippers for cutting your line if that's what you like to use, and a backpack to carry all that stuff in. Make sure to like and subscribe this video, share it, and hit the bell icon to get notifications. If you're interested in fly fishing, head over to troutprostore.com to pick up some flies. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.